This is the CMU EDUcast, all about issues and new ideas in education in Thailand. I'm Chris Mangum. Today, purpose and passion in education. And joining us today in our CMU studios is Dr.Washirasorn Saengsuwan from the Chiang Mai University Faculty of Education, where you teach science education. Is that correct?
Yep, correct.
Welcome. Nice to have you here.
Thank you.
So you are a scientist, a person with a science background and an education background.
Yep, right. My bachelor degree is chemistry, and for my master and doctoral degree is science education.
Wow. So this is a very important job in Thailand to prepare teachers to teach.
Yep, I think so.
Sciences.
Yes,
Yeah.
right.
So that's your purpose.
Yep. When I was a child, I wanted to be a teacher, and luckily I was a scholarship student from my bachelor degree until doctoral degree. So I have to prepare a lot for being a good teacher.
You knew your purpose early on. You knew that you wanted to become a teacher.
Yes, right.
And it was easy then for you because you knew.
Yep, right. That's why I really want to talk about purpose and passion in education, because we are teaching in Faculty of Education, and our student, the pre-service student, they are going to be a teacher, science teacher, for example. So they have to know the purpose exactly, and also they have to have their own passion. They are passionate about what they are going to be, and as we know, they are going to be a science teacher, chemistry teacher.
Are there students who maybe don't have purpose or don't have a sense of purpose?
I think most of students at the Faculty of Education, I think before they enter to school or Faculty of Education, they decided to be a teacher in the near future. So I think their purpose is quite clear.
When did you know your purpose?
When I was in grade 9, maybe grade 9.
I guess in English we'd say this is a vocation. It's a kind of calling to a job. At some point you hear a voice
Yes,
from outer space.
Maybe inner voice, I think inner
voice, maybe inner space, right? So you hear some kind of voice that says, "Hey, you should do this. You're good at this."
Yes, that's a part of it, I think. Mm-hmm. And another part is the teacher at my school. When I was in the secondary school, we have the guidance teacher. Mm-hmm. And she said to me that, you should be a teacher. Maybe I'm one of the talented student in the school. And I don't know, for some reason, she said, you should go to be a teacher. And when I was in the school, I observed my teachers. And I feel like, all right, I really want to be a teacher because I would like to do teacher jobs, to teach students to be a good person.
To be a role model.
A role model, yep.
For students. But when she put that in your head, and then that changed the way you saw teachers, you started to look at them and observe them as potential ways of being for yourself.
Yes. But I don't know, Chris. To me, it feels like sometimes we don't know exactly what we are going to be in the near future. Because at that time, I also applied for the School of Engineering, and I got it already. And for some reason, I have to be a teacher.
This seems like a universal problem for people who are drawn to the vocation of teaching, but also find themselves deeply interested in a subject, a content area. That somehow doing a job professionally precludes teaching in some cases, but in other cases it allows for teaching. So as a university professor, as a scientist, you're expected to do research, but also teach. And that's one context where you can do both. You're expected to do both.
I believe in the destiny that something made me become a teacher. Because like I told you, at first I applied for the School of Engineering, and I got the seat already. And I'm ready to go to the School of Engineering. but for some reason there is a scholarship program came up at that time, and I have the chance to apply for it. And I know that I'm from the family that we are not the rich family. So I talked to my mom that, Mom, I think if I got a scholarship, that would be better than going to school of engineering because we have to pay a lot. And at that time, I cannot afford it. My brothers will pay for me if I want to go to school of engineering. So that's
So part of your decision was financial in
Yeah.
terms of why you became a teacher. It sounds like you had an early understanding of yourself as a teacher.
right.
You were responding to that, but you had a crossroads. You had to choose one or the other.
Right. It's like the timing or something.
Well, what happened? What's the story? How did it work out?
Finally, I applied for the scholarship project and I got selected. So I just chose it to be a teacher because my purpose, my inner voice told me that you should be a teacher, not an engineer. Even though I can be an engineer, but I can be a teacher better. You know, I can learn mathematics, I can learn physics. I love both of these two subjects. But in the real life, in the workplace, I don't think I'm going to work as an engineer. I would be happier to be a teacher and teach students to be a smart people.
And so teaching is your passion as
Yes,
well.
yes, I think so. Teaching is my passion.
That's a strong word, passion, but it seems to fit for people who are called to teaching.
Yes.
You don't hear this word in other industries so much. You don't hear about people having a passion for some jobs.
Yeah.
For other jobs, yes. But this is definitely one of those jobs where people have a passion for the job.
Yeah, so passion, as you know, passion is what we really love to do. A sense that we love to do something, we love to be someone. So as a science teacher or our student that they are going to be a teacher, they have to love what they are going to teach, their subject. They also have to love their student, the kids. So I think if they love what they do, they will be happy and they will be successful in their jobs.
I like the idea of passion being kind of contagious.
Yeah.
That love of your subject is something that maybe a student, when they start with your class, they don't understand. But because you love physics, you love chemistry,
Yeah.
that love is somehow transferred to the student.
Right. Yeah. And the reason why someone who love or maybe more than love, they are crazy.
So it's like
Yeah, they are crazy about something.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why they are very successful because they really love it. They can do it for 24 hours, for example. Yeah, that's what we're talking about.
Being a fanatic about something. Like
Yes.
really being super interested in an idea.
Right.
And that is contagious. If someone is really into this, it seems so exciting and so compelling for students to see someone who's not just delivering information, but somebody who's really engaged in what they're talking about and excited about it.
Yeah, like they are curious, I think.
Yeah.
Like the purpose of education, we have to make our students to be curious and to love of learning. So if they love of learning, they want to know something, for example, and they try to figure out or find a way, find a solution. And I think that is the important purpose for education. So students can construct their new knowledge.
For me, in my experience, it came from teachers. I was also lucky to have really, really good teachers. Some of them were so interested in their subjects, and that interest transferred to me. And a lot of them were science teachers, so I became very interested in science because I had great science teachers. But that also is one of the reasons why I became a teacher, is because I realized that my interest in a subject, the love of science that I was able to get from my science teachers, didn't just give me a love of science, it gave me a love of teaching.
Nice.
So was that your experience too? Did you have good teachers?
Yes, sure. They are good teacher, but that's quite a long time ago. But for this day, I saw my friend who are teachers and they are inspire their students. So I think I also would like to be a teacher that can inspire students to do something better, to make the impact for the society or for the country, even for the world. Because we're living in the world that is very beautiful to me, but there are so many issues, so many problems, as we know, climate change and other problems. So I try to encourage my students to think that they are living in the same world and they should be valuable. They should do something that is beneficial to the society they live or to the country.
Maybe as a teacher, you're inviting them for the first time to be a citizen of the world.
Right. Because I really want them to be open-minded. I'm very open-minded. That's the reason why I travel a lot, not only in Thailand, but around the world. Because I want to experience, to see the world. And I learn a lot from my own experiences. And I really love to have my students the same way that I face. When you are open-minded, I think you can open your heart to the others. You can care for the others. You can love the others, especially your kid, your student. Because, I work in the central of Thailand. I work in the south of Thailand, and now I'm working in the north of Thailand. And the problem I found that our students, they have so many problems from their family, from the backgrounds. So if they come to school and there are teachers who care enough or who understand their circumstance, I think students will be motivated, will be inspired to be a better person. It's like someone see the value of them. So that is one of the purpose for being a teacher, not only science teacher. As a teacher, we have to care enough. We have to understand our student the most so we can help them and they can be a good citizen of the world. And I think when we have the educated people or the high quality people, the society will be better and we all can live together happily. That's my ideal.
It's a beautiful idea.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to hear a science teacher speak so humanistically about education, about the purpose of education to be one of humanizing people and to calling them to be a member of the world society, and also use phrases like love when we talk about education. We don't see that word love in education textbooks, but we see it a lot in the philosophy. The history and philosophy of education is very much concerned with the idea of love and passion in education. Somehow that's swept away in the 20th century. We think of education as being a kind of vehicle for economic growth and for other things. But I like this science teacher sitting across from me here who's talking about the importance of love.
Yeah, because love makes us happy, like the love from our parents. We are very happy to be with our parents, with brothers, sisters, and why not love for the colleagues, for our friends, for our students? If we share our love to our students, the atmosphere of the classroom will be positive, and there are kind of the good vibration in the classroom, so students can feel the positive energy from the teacher. And as a teacher, we know that if we are in the bad mood, we are moody in the class, the atmosphere, the energy will change the classroom atmosphere, so students will not be happy. So why not we change the focus from the negative vibration to positive vibration in the classroom? So love is the powerful something for the student. Yes.
But I also remember some math and science courses that were very difficult and not positive experiences because math is high stakes. And the standardized tests that are used to measure a person's intelligence or their ability to succeed in the future, or really their value, there's this valuation that's going on. A lot of this comes down to the ability to solve math and science problems. So kids can very easily be made to feel bad in a STEM context. But what you're describing is really different.
Yeah, because we have to find a new way, new approach of teaching. If we still teach the same method, the same approach, the product or the student will be the same. If we want them to be a better person, we have to teach them with the creative or innovative approach. But I don't know if we are human beings, so everyone really want to be loved or to love someone that make us always happy, I guess. So love should be everywhere, in school, in the workplace. Like I said, because we talk about the passion, and the passion is what we do about what we love. And that's the reason why we are talking about love now.
And there seems to be a connection between passion and purpose. A purpose is a kind of awareness about yourself.
Yes.
Can you
And
talk about
the connection between purpose and passion, right? Or, for example, students at the Faculty of Education, they are now prepared for being a teacher, and they have their own purpose, and that is the teacher. And actually, I think most of them love for being a teacher, and some of them might not, for example, because when they come to the Faculty of Education and they might think, oh, it's not me anymore. What they expect and what they are facing now might be different, especially when they go to work in school. There are so many issues. So what I'm going to talk is when they have their own purpose, and mostly I ask my student, what is the definite purpose of the profession, like for being a teacher? Because there are different kind of teacher, and I ask them, why are you studying at the Faculty of Education?
It's such a simple question, right?
Yeah.
Yet it's a tricky question.
Yeah.
I don't think many people think about that question. Why? Why are you teaching? Why is this your purpose?
Yeah, and most of them said that they want to be a teacher. They want to teach others. And some of them said the teaching profession is secure for them and for their family. And I keep asking that, and what type of teacher would you like to become? And sometimes they don't have any idea about what kind of teacher. So when I give them a choice, you want to be a mediocre teacher, or you want to be a good teacher, you want to be a superior teacher, or you want to be a great teacher. And most of students, they don't think that they are going to be a great teacher. So I have to give them a quote that I found when I was an undergraduate student. That's a long time ago. And at that time, I have my purpose that I want to be a good teacher, a good role model for my student. And when I saw the quote about the type of teacher, it said like the mediocre teacher tells, the good teacher explains, the superior teacher demonstrates, the great teacher inspires. So I think demonstrate or be a good role model for students would not be enough for me. I would like to expand. I would like to be a great teacher. I would like to inspire my student. So from that time, I have to work hard. I try to do several things to have my own experience, to get my own inspiration in order to be an example for my student. So when I would like to inspire them, I just told them my story, how I can get inspired by myself. So most of people sometimes they need motivation from others. But to me, when I have my purpose, when I have my goal of life, I know that I can be inspired myself. I can get motivated myself. I don't want others to motivate me. If someone come and motivate me, when they gone, sometimes I feel down. I fell down again.
If you're not motivated.
Yeah, right. So be motivated myself, be inspired myself would be better.
I think in English we might say, don't give your students fish. Teach them how to catch a fish.
Yeah,
that's
right.
better, right? So that's another way of saying what your meaning is.
Yeah, thank you.
To teach your students how to fish themselves and to find their own sources of inspiration when they're not coming from the outside, to have the inspiration coming from the inside.
Yes. So when I first taught at Mahidol Wityanusorn School, and I don't want to be a mediocre teacher, just tell the knowledge, tell the content for my student. After I have my clear purpose that I would like to be a great teacher to inspire them. And at Mahidol Wityanusorn School, students are very talented and exceptional. So when they had to do their science project, and my students, they are interested in the science project about cosmic ray muon detector. And actually we bought the instrument from Fermilab from the USA. And at that time there is only one equipment in Thailand. And
to detect cosmic rays from outer space?
Right. And the physicists from Fermilab came to Thailand, came to Mahidol Wityanusorn School to train me and my colleague how to use the instrument. And a group of students who interested in this instrument asked me about doing their own science project. And at that time, I know my students, they are gifted and talented. When they ask me, even I know the answer, but I don't want to tell them the answer. And I know that they are very good at English as well, because the subject we taught in English, everything is in English. So I think, all right, I'm gonna challenge my student to be a better person, to be a better student. So I asked them, why don't you send an email to a physicist at Fermilab?
At Fermi Labs?
Yeah.
Fermilabs.
Fermilab. And then they said, okay, I try. And I told them, if you send an email to a physicist at the Fermilab, and if you have any problem, any question, please let me know. I will help you. And you know what? They can communicate with someone from Fermilab.
Very exciting for them to get a response from a physicist in another country.
Right.
And at a major laboratory.
Right. And at the Fermilab, as we know that there are so many physicists who got the Nobel Prize. And I really want them to be excited and motivated by talking to someone from the famous place in the US. And then they kept talking to each other, and they finished their science project, and they have the report in English. And then now he's the PhD candidate at the Caltech, California Institute of Technology.
Wow, so that really sent him on a great trajectory, a great pathway.
Right. And you know what? Maybe 2 or 3 years ago, he sent me a message in Facebook, in Messenger, that, Ajahn Yod, you know what? I applied for the internship to 4 places in the US. There are 3 places that reject my application, and there was only 1 place that accept my my application. And he said that was the Fermilab.
Fermilab. So wow, that talk. Okay, so you're talking about destiny. That's destiny, right? That's definitely.
But also that is, I don't know, maybe the law of cause and effect, because we did something first at Mahidol Wityanusorn School, and what we have done that day bring something to my student now as a PhD candidate. And that story, because as I told you, if I just answer them the question, that's all, that's it. But I chose to not answer them a question. I want them to talk to a physicist from Fermilab to be, to be inspired.
By simply following your own rules of teaching, of excellence, you created the butterfly effect. You created a problem for your students that they had to solve.
Right.
And in the process of solving this led them on a life journey.
Right. Because I don't want to be a normal teacher. At that time, I feel like I want to be a coach or a mentor or a facilitator to help them, to urge them to think, to solve the problem, to be creative or,
If you had just given the answer, they would have taken the answer and then forgotten.
Yeah.
But somehow leaving them with the problem, the opposite of the banking model of education. You let them learn to feed themselves rather than feeding them.
Right. And finally, he got an internship at Fermilab for 4 weeks.
Something tells me there's more to the story in the future, that we'll be hearing more in the years to come about his story that will link back to your relationship. That's an amazing story.
Yeah, and I just wanted our teacher to do like that, like to encourage students, to ask them questions, to try to help them.
I think just by telling the story, other teachers can hear this and say, and maybe learn something from it, I hope.
Yeah. And I'm very happy to be kind of a great teacher that I can inspire my students from Dr.Washirasorn School to the Caltech University. I mean, maybe the best university in the world for a short period of time.
I would agree. You are a great teacher, and it's also great to have you here talking to us today. We've been talking to Dr.Washirasorn Saengsuwan, a great and inspiring teacher who is very good at creating more inspiring teachers, reproducing what you do. So thank you so much for being here, and thanks for what you do.
You're most welcome. Thank you.